Hello and welcome back to the last lesson in this unit. And it's foreign currency and Google. So what I want you to be able to do is you can use the appropriate technology to determine foreign currency value purchased with Canadian. So I'm going to show you a whole bunch, but I'll show you some common ones. We already dealt with Canadian money way back in lesson 1. Some of your more common ones is your US dollars. So if you cross the border and buy American money, okay, US dollars, they are a little bit more narrow than our Canadian money, okay, but approximately the same length. So they are a little bit more narrow, and they follow this particular format with that, they call it kind of a lush green color, and they all have the same color. Which is a little frustrating when you're Canadian because you're used to the different colors helping you tell them apart, and their denominations are always listed in the top corner. The other one you might come across, if you are lucky enough, is the euro. So the euro is the monetary or the money of Europe, across Europe. So in the olden days, back when I was a young lad, each country in Europe had its own money, which made it a bit of a challenge because I went on one trip with the school, and every time you crossed the border, you had to waste an hour converting your money into the new money as you crossed the border. Now with the euro, it's accepted across Europe, and it allows you to not have to stop and exchange money anymore. So much more convenient. The euro, it's much like the Canadian dollar. It's very vibrant, different colors. They also have the equivalent, I guess, of a loonie and toonie as well. Yeah, so each country or group of countries has its own cash system. So if you plan on traveling, you need to look ahead and figure out what currency is accepted where you're going. So we're going to use technology. I'm going to show you how to convert with Google because it's close. They don't include the bank charges because it varies from bank to bank, but it gives you a very good approximation of what you can anticipate the money will cost. So a couple of key terminology you need to know. We need to use the word convert when you type it in, and I'm going to show you when I bring up Google how to type it in, but you need to use the word convert because Google is a little bit more efficient. But you also need to know what currency you're going to, and they use the short forms here. So CDN, this is good old Canadian. Oops, which I can't spell. I was going to put Canadian. All right. Some of them are easy to pick out. USD, this is your US dollar, American. EUR, that is your euro. DEM doesn't exist. I don't know what I was thinking there. Let's go with DKK. So this is your Danish kroner. So for those that are planning on going to Denmark, you get your Danish kroner. And GBP, this is your British pound. So if you plan on going over to jolly old England, this would be the currency you'd be looking at, is the British pound. All right. Now you can Google any of these. So if you need to know the acronym, or Google will bring them up if you need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring Google up and show you how to do a couple of the conversions, and then we'll go from there. So when I bring Google up, you need to make sure, so here's Google. Okay, you need to make sure you type it in exactly as it reads. So for the first one, we are doing 67.50 Canadian to US dollars. So I'm going to type convert 67.50 CDN to USD. Hit enter, and here we go. So 67.50 is the equivalent of $48.11 US. Now, if you stay on this page here, here are all the conversion factors for you, so you don't really have to retype it in every time. All right, so I'm going to record that, 48.11. So 48.11. All right, so 67, almost $68 Canadian will buy you currently, when I did this, $48.11 American. Now, let's do the next example, 150 euros. So you're coming back from Europe, and you want to know how much Canadian you're going to have. So I'll bring Google up, and I'll stay on this page. So I'm going to go 150 But now I'm going to do the pull down menu and I'm going to look for the euro. Euro. And now I'm going to look for Canadian because we want to bring it back to the Canadian dollar. So here we are scrolling and it's got everything under the sun here. Iranian rial, the Indian rupee. Okay, you can select whatever you want. I want Canadian dollar though. So 150 euros. Look at that. 229.80 Canadian. Crazy, eh? So the euro right now is very expensive for us to buy as Canadians. So 150 is the same as 229. Goldfish memory, 229.80 Canadian. All right. So that's how Google works. And like I said, it will convert to any format you want. So let's say, for example, you had you're going to Japan. So you have 500 Canadian to, we want to go to the yen. All right. So if we did that, 500 Canadian, you would get 42,792.83 yen. So it seems like a lot of money, 42,000, almost 43,000 yen. But remember, that's just the equivalent of 500 Canadian dollars. And plus, things cost different amounts depending on where you are in the world. So there you go. This is the one you're going to probably use. You can probably use your smartphone or your iPad to do the conversion. The worksheet is just doing a couple of practice questions like that. Once you've got that done, make sure you get it checked by the teacher, and then you're able to move along. Great job this unit. It's been a pleasure, and we'll see you in a future unit.